in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I've been practicing a bit, getting much better. So I decided to just pick a short flight. Start out on the runway, I'm gonna take off, fly to another airport and land. You can see we're gonna be flying in the dark here. I'm flying in France from just outside of Paris, and I'll be landing in Brussels, home of the Sprouts. So here we go. I'm going to be using the autopilot for most of the flight, just because it makes a much smoother flight. If I can take off, there we go. I just find the controls to be a bit touchy. I'm sure if I was to go in and mess with things, I could get them better somehow, but I don't know. I don't have that much experience with the game. Also, in this video, I am just using my Xbox controller. I still keep bouncing around between using the Xbox controller, the mouse and keyboard, and I have a flight stick, a pretty basic one from Logitech. So I've got some good experience using all three now, but I don't know, they each have their ups and downs, you know. Anyway, let's make sure that I have all my autopilot stuff on the way I need it, the way I want it, so that it follows the path correctly. There we go. Also,
7 Cessna November India Zulu.
I didn't purposefully choose to fly in the dark, and I know I could go in and change the time that I'm flying, but
climbing 8,000 feet.
The game's just using the real time right now while I'm recording this. And, I mean, it's not night time for me right now, but I'm in America and this is France, and right now it's nighttime in France. So, I got some boxes with me. I don't know. I don't have a co-pilot. I know when you set up a flight, you can set cargo and passengers and stuff. I didn't do any of that, I guess. By default, I have some cargo. I don't know what that is. But anyway, yeah, I just left it to what it's set to, and it's night in France right now. So I'm flying in the dark, but I haven't done this yet in the game, fly in the dark. I don't think it matters much other than my view out the window being different. Because it's just darkness and lights everywhere. Also, I'm in a much smaller plane than my last video. This is a Cessna. It's basically the plane you do all the tutorial stuff with, so I'm pretty familiar with this plane. But, I won't be flying very high at all. I'll be staying pretty low, so I won't end up getting above clouds and just being able to see clouds around me. I should always be able to see the city down there, or cities that I'm flying over. Again, I'll just see darkness and lights, but better than just seeing clouds, I think. I think in the next video I'll make sure it's daylight and fly around somewhere that looks cool. I don't know where. I've already done mountains and stuff, maybe some islands somewhere, Maybe take off in Hawaii, fly around a bit, and then land back at the same airport in Hawaii. Or, I don't know, somewhere in the Bahamas, something like that. Some just cool tropical islands. I don't know. But for this video, I just wanted to do one, full flight. Take off somewhere, fly, and then land. And I chose this because it didn't seem too far. But I'm a bit confused because I just fully did this flight in a different plane. In a plane that was also pretty small, but it was like a jet. Almost like a military jet or something. I'm not sure what it was, but it was easily 4 times faster than this plane. And the entire flight took me about 15 or 20 minutes, I think. But I'm confused when I switched to this plane, it's giving me an ETA of 33 minutes or so. But there's no way this plane's gonna do it that fast. I have no idea how long this flight's gonna take in this plane. But it can't be that quick. There's just no way it's gonna be that quick. So I have no clue how long this video is gonna end up being. And I have no plans for what I'm gonna talk about, so hopefully, I don't know, maybe it is gonna be 33 minutes and it won't be too bad. Or maybe it's gonna be longer and I'm gonna have to get pretty happy to keep going. One thing that I think is weird is that, like, you can see those blue squares out the window. That's supposed to be my flight path. But right now the autopilot's following the flight path, and I'm not in those blue squares. I know they're not squares, they're rectangles, whatever, but I'm following along them, but I'm not exactly on the path. Which, I don't think that matters. I don't really care at all. I think it's odd that that's the path I'm following, but the autopilot doesn't quite follow it perfectly. Another thing that's weird is all I did between the last flight and this flight is change the plane. But changing the plane completely changed the flight path. This path has multiple more turns in it. And I'm not sure why. Like, it had an extra turn after, like, taking off. Now I think I'm on the main leg of the flight where I'm going to be holding this heading for a while. But then, also right before I land, it has, like, a couple of extra turns where I'll, like, turn left a little bit, go out, then turn right to come back in, then turn left to line up with the runway, which I'm not sure why that is. But, I don't know anything about aviation, so maybe, depending on the speed of the plane and how high you are, and the size of the plane, that changes all of that. And this game's realistic enough to take that all into effect. I have no idea. I just know the last plane was a much more, like, straightforward flight from one airport to the other. And this one adds a couple of extra turns, but I'm using autopilot for all those turns, it doesn't matter. And even if I wasn't, I could do okay on the turns. I'm still not great at, like pulling out of the turns on time. I tend to overturn, because, like, as you're straightening back out, you're still turning some. The plane doesn't immediately stop turning, and so I still end up oversteering a bit every time I'm turning a plane and having to, like, correct myself, which is really what I want to get better at the most right now, is being able to get better at stopping the turn early, so that by the time I'm fully straightened out, I haven't turned too far. And also, I need to get better at landing the faster and bigger planes, because I struggle a lot with, like, slowing down enough to land without slowing down too soon, or losing too much altitude too soon. Again, I have the most experience in this plane I'm in now, so hopefully it won't be too bad when I come in to land in Brussels. But I don't know. I know, like I said, I just did this exact flight with a much faster plane, and I definitely had trouble landing. That plane was very fast, so as I was approaching the runway, I'm trying to slow down enough to land, and then you gotta put the flaps up, but you can't put them up when you're going too fast, so you gotta slow down first, at least an amount, then put the flaps up.
125.
And I had to put the landing gear down. This plane's got fixed gear, you don't worry about it, but that other plane, I had to put the landing gear down, which is fine.
Bravo November India Zulu is passing 5,200 feet, climbing 8,000
slowing
feet.
down, I put out my landing gear, slow down enough, put the flaps out, but then I started really slowing down and losing altitude too early, so I had to, like, speed back up to try to get back up was so worried about not coming into the runway too fast that I accidentally lost all my altitude and like was landing early. And had to like barely avoid hitting some buildings and stuff, and then was going too fast into the runway. So I think you just need some more practice and experience. Or not you, I do. I'm the one playing and flying. So yeah, I think I just need more practice. And I've still barely touched helicopters, just because the little bit I've touched them in this game, they seem crazy difficult to fly. It just seems like the slightest little touches send you all over the place. And I don't want really an experience like that in this game. You know, I like this game just kind of being peaceful and calming, just fly around a little bit, just have fun. Like I haven't really been playing the main sort of like campaign of the game, because like I went through all the tutorials and stuff just to teach me about the game and how to play and the controls. But then you get into where you have your license and you're doing these like private flights for people where they want to go up and fly around and look at this area and then go back and land, and like you get graded on how smooth the flight is and how smooth your landing is and all of this sort of stuff. And I just find it to be more stressful, worried about trying to stay smooth and trying to stay at the right height and the right speed and not turn too much and jostle them around, and they're complaining about it. And again, that's what I struggle with the most, is maintaining smooth flight and turning nice and smooth and easy without autopilot on. So I haven't really touched that mode at all. I just keep doing the free flights like this. Just because I've said in earlier videos of other games, I like playing, open world games sometimes, and just walking around or driving around or, riding a horse around, depending on what type of game it is. And just going through the environment, not doing missions, not really interacting with any other characters, just wandering around, being immersed in the area, in the immersion of the game, and just relaxing, calming down if I've had like a particularly stressful or anxious day. So that's what I'm trying to do here. Just kind of fly, look around, just kind of be nice and calm. What's my altitude? 7,000. I think I'm flying up to 11,000 feet. So I've got a bit to go. I can open the window. I like that. I like how the sound changes when you open the windows and stuff. I wonder what it would be like to be up in a plane. Well, I mean, I've been in a helicopter that didn't have a door, but I feel like a plane would be moving a bit faster, so it would probably be a lot louder. I'm gonna close them. But like everyone's been in a car with the window open and you have the wind whipping by and it can be noisy. But I just imagine being up in a plane going this fast. This plane's not that fast. But I don't know how fast the helicopter I was in was going, but I mean, he was giving us a tour. He wasn't like moving that fast, really. He was kind of flying around the beach and stuff. But also, in the helicopter, I had a headset on, so I wasn't hearing the wind that much. I mean, it was very loud. That's why we had the headset on, because we couldn't talk to each other without it. There's no way we would have heard each other. So it is pretty loud. But anyway, I just wonder what it would be like to be in a plane like this, flying and just open those windows. I mean, it can't be too bad. Why else would they have windows that are able to open? I don't know, maybe in like an emergency situation you'd have to open a window. I don't know. Like if the plane had to land somewhere and you're stuck inside, you can't get the door open, but then the window didn't seem like it opened far enough to fit out of it. I have no idea. I imagine it can't be that bad. It can't be that loud. just real windy. Well, it does seem like this flight's going to be longer than the 33 minutes it told me, since we've been going for quite some time now. I'm still not even done climbing, only at 8,000 feet. I don't know, like my flight log or the map well enough. Like I can see on the map down there, I'm flying over some river. That's cool. I have no idea what that is or where that is. So I don't know how close I am to the airport I'm landing at. But I know this is the long straightaway, like I said. Then I'll bank to the right, fly for a while, and then another series of turns, and then come into land. So it is seeming like this is going to be a much longer flight. I hope it's not too long. I don't really want to make like an hour and a half or 2 hour long video here, just because I have no clue what I'll talk about for the whole thing. Like, I wouldn't mind doing a video like this where I'm, flying and there's no talking, but I've already started recording this with me talking, so I don't want to have a long stretch where I'm not now. Why is it telling me to descend?
Descend and maintain 8,000 foot Cessna, November, India, Zulu.
Thought I was doing 11,000. I guess I'm doing 8,000. Well, let me adjust and go down. I mean, it's following the flight plan, and the flight plan has me going this high too. I'm not sure why they're telling me to go down. I need to find where the altitude is. It's down here, the bottom one. Let me set it to 8,000. There we go. Okay. Now it's kind of leveled me out, but it's not going down. How do I go down? I definitely don't want heading select. Yeah, I'm slightly climbing again. How do I get it to follow my new altitude reading and go down? Maybe turn hold mode off. But I think I would want hold mode on, and then it would hold to the altitude that I have selected, right? I have no idea. Level change mode doesn't seem to do anything. I don't know what all of these controls do fully, but that doesn't seem to do anything. Do these little nose up and nose down buttons? Oh, there we go. I can just use these buttons to aim down. Now I'm dropping. That's nice. I guess I'll just do it that way. Get myself down to 8,000 and then have it hold there. Yeah, Paris, I'm going down. See, I can't be far at all because I'm still having Paris talk to me, and that's where I took off from. So, yeah, I think this flight is going to take quite a while. But, there we go. I'm dropping now. I'm getting down to 8,000. I don't know why they don't want me at 11,000. That's what the flight log said. See here too, the little screen in front of me shows that I'm flying right through the purple rectangles, but then on the screen out the window, the blue rectangles are to my left. I'm not going through them. I'm missing them. I thought those were the same thing. Those are both showing the flight path, but I don't know. They're not synced. Anyway, I'm gonna start leveling out here at 8,000 and then see if it'll hold there with all of my, with it still following the flight plan and everything. Again, I have no clue why the flight plan was having me fly too high. I don't know. I don't really know anything about, like, So, I really can't say how any of that works. I just like pick the flight, pick the plane I want, and then I can go in and look at the flight plan and all the legs of the flight, but I have no clue how to edit any of that stuff. Or if you even can edit it. I mean, I know you can change which runway you take off from or land on. You can also set it to start you, like, not even on the runway yet, where you have to taxi up to the runway and then take off. You can go through all of that, but I didn't want to do any of that stuff for this. I was like, just start me on the runway, and then I'll just end on the other runway and not worry about taxiing around on the ground. Taxiing, it's not like hard or annoying or anything, it's just kind of boring. You know, I'm not playing a flight simulator to drive on the ground. I want to fly. So I just kind of don't really like doing it. But we are holding 8,000 now, so that's good. At least I was able to figure that part out. Again, still don't know why the flight plan had me at 11,000 cruising altitude, and then the game's got people telling me to go lower. I didn't choose the 11,000. The game chose that for me, so I don't know. I know I can change. That's one thing I do know how to change when you're looking at the legs, is you can change your cruising altitude. But like, I just left it at what it was at default. I didn't change it at all. I figured it was fine with what it was at. But I guess not. I do know that I think this plane, like when I selected it, it said its maximum altitude is like 12,000 feet. So, again, maybe that's got something to do with it, that this plane can't go higher, and that one thing I do remember from the tutorials in the main campaign is that, like, main air traffic has certain altitudes it's supposed to be at. And I think, like, the commercial planes, you know, they obviously go much higher. And then smaller craft doing shorter, more local flights are much lower. And maybe that's all it is, because I'm in a very small plane, just doing a short flight, that I can't go above 8,000. Because if I get going too much higher, that's the airspace for the commercial jets and stuff. I don't know. Again, when I'm just setting up a flight to go here from one place to another, just to fly around and have some fun like this, it doesn't tell me all that stuff. And like I said, while I know how to change the cruising altitude, I didn't. It defaulted to 11,000. So, I don't know. I don't know why it defaulted to 11,000 if it doesn't want me to fly that high. But am I finally done talking to the Paris?
475 Cessna November India Zulu.
Is that what that was? Them saying basically you're out of our
Paris
space
Center
now.
Cessna Foxtrot Bravo November India Zulu 8,000 feet.
Maybe now. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm pretty sure the last time I did it, I only talked to Paris and then to Brussels when I was coming into there, so if I'm now done talking to Paris, maybe no one will be talking on the radio for a while now, until I get closer to, much closer to my landing destination. I really have no clue how long it's gonna be, though. I'm honestly surprised how dark it is already. Like, I know it's winter, but it's about 3 p.m. here, my time, while I'm recording this. And I don't know, maybe this is far enough east that it's 5 hours ahead, but I know, like, Spain and England are 4 hours ahead, which would put it at about 7 p.m., almost 7 p.m. now, where I'm flying. Again, though, maybe it's almost 8 p.m. And I know it gets darker earlier in winter, but... Oh, do I already see my turn coming up? Maybe this won't be as long as I thought, because it does look like my flight path is turning to the right up ahead of me. But anyway, I don't know, I just feel like it's incredibly dark for as early as it would be. I don't know, maybe I'm being dumb. It does get dark at like 5:30, 6 p.m. here, so why wouldn't it there too? Maybe I'm just forgetting exactly how early it does actually get dark out now in winter. But yeah, I was setting it up. I chose Paris, and then I got, like I was looking at the map, and you have the whole globe. You can just spin around and pick where you're flying when you're setting up your flight. And so I could see that it was already night in Paris, in England, France, in most of Europe. And I was a bit surprised by it, but now I'm sitting here thinking about it, it makes sense. It would be, like I said, almost 7 or almost 8, and the sun should be setting around 6 p.m. So it does track. Look, I'm flying more into my flight path now. I'm almost going through the little blue rectangles now. Yeah, I do have a turn coming up here. But currently I'm still flying north. This turn's gonna head me further east. And I'm pretty sure that I was flying more east than north to get from Paris to Brussels. I mean, it's northeast, but I have been going straight north, so I'm pretty sure I'm gonna turn here to head more easterly, not directly east, but more easterly, and then I'll be holding that exact path for a while before we get close to all those other turns and coming into land. Again, I think this was the main difference. The last plane that I used when I did this exact flight, it didn't have me like go north for a while, then turn and hold that line for a while. I went pretty much straight from one airport to the other once I was up. So I'm not really sure why this plane, it had me do it differently. And again, I have no idea how to edit those legs. I tried to go in and like see every one of them and change them, and I didn't seem to be able to change them, just to look at them and look at the timing. But again, the timing already seems off. If I'm only here now, and I'm already almost half an hour in, like there's no way I'm landing in 3 minutes from now. So, I don't know. I think I just don't fully understand how all that stuff in the menus when you're setting up your flight works. I wanted this video to be, almost an hour long is what I was aiming for, somewhere around the 40, 50 or so minute range. And then I saw the flight was 30 minutes, but I was like, that doesn't really include taking off and then landing, so that could extend it. But now it's looking like this video is going to be closer to an hour, 15 minutes, hour, 20 minutes maybe. I'm not like super upset by that. I just, that would mean I'm not quite halfway through. And I don't know what I talk about for the rest of this flight. Just, look out the window, it's dark. And the plane's kind of flying itself, I'm barely doing anything. Like, it's fun, it's relaxing and peaceful. I like just hearing the drone of the engine. I've always been someone that can easily fall asleep in a car. Obviously not while I'm driving, but if I'm a passenger in a car, I find it really easy to just listen to the sound of the car, of the road, of the traffic, and just fall asleep. And with my family, half my family living in New York and half of my family living in North Carolina, I've been in the car many times for the drive between the two states. but it's about a 10-hour, 12-hour drive, and I've never done that drive as an adult. I've only flown back to New York, but as a kid I was driven back and forth a lot. And I would end up sleeping most of the time. We would always, as kids, want to be awake when we go through the tunnels as you're going through the Appalachian Mountains. There are these like big, long tunnels you drive through in like Pennsylvania or Virginia or somewhere. I don't think it's Pennsylvania because that's close to before we get there. I think it's further south. It's as you're going through Virginia, I think, or wherever it is. I'm not entirely sure. But it was always fun going through those tunnels, and then and also seeing all the mountains before you get to the tunnel. Then you go through this long, like dark tunnel, and then come out on the other side and again see all the mountains all around you. So that part of the drive was always fun, but other than that, it was a lot of just sleeping. And we'd, stop every once in a while just to get out, walk around, go to the bathroom, just because we're all cooped up in the car for so long. And I have a huge family. I have a ton of siblings. So we would always have like a fully packed car. And we would normally, we'd meet halfway. So like, if I was going up north to see my mom, my dad would drive us halfway and my mom would drive down halfway. And we'd meet somewhere, we'd all get in the other car and then they'd turn around and go back. So that it wasn't one parent having to drive the full 10 hours there and then the full, 10, 12 hours back as well. So each parent would have to take basically the whole day to make the trip. But better than one parent spending 2 days to make the trip. And I have step siblings too, and so like, we'd all be in my dad and stepmom's car, make the drive, and then some of us get in with my mom, some get in with their father, who would also have driven down. And then we'd go all the rest of the way there. And those meetings I'm pretty sure would be after the tunnels, so the tunnels have to be further south than Pennsylvania for sure. But yeah, I would always sleep on those long drives. Honestly, I was surprised when I flew. I didn't sleep at all, especially the first flight, because like I said, it was delayed so much. Well, I didn't say in this video, but that flight got delayed so much that we flew in the middle of the night. We took off after I was supposed to have landed. And so I landed at like 1:32 in the morning or something. After having been up all day, and I didn't even sleep then. But that was the very first time I had ever flown, and I think I was, a bit excited, a bit nervous, all that sort of stuff, and I didn't sleep. But I enjoyed it. It was very quiet. Pretty much everybody was just sleeping, almost. And I had a window seat, just kind of looked out the window the entire flight. That was pretty much all I did. I had brought my Switch with me, and I had planned on playing something. Thinking of the time, it was probably Breath of the Wild is what I would have been playing at the time. But I didn't play on the flight down or the flight back. And thinking back on it, I was also wearing my prosthetic, and I couldn't have played the Switch with that thing on, so I would have had to take it off on the plane, set my Switch up to play, and then as we were landing, put the Switch away, put my arm back on. None of that would have been too complicated or taken too long, but I just, I guess that was what I was planning on doing, and I didn't do it. I just enjoyed looking out the window for the entire flight, seeing how high up we were. We did fly over the mountains and stuff. That was cool. And like I said before, when we came into land, we swung out over Lake Erie. I could see like all the lakes up there. So I didn't sleep on the plane, but I enjoyed it. I really liked the flying, and I'm sure if I ever flew a much longer flight, I would sleep. Because I would just find it so hard not to fall asleep. Just being there, sitting there, nothing else really to do. And just hearing the drone of the engines. And I'm sure I definitely would fall asleep. But of course, I won't do that while I'm the pilot. You can't fall asleep when you're the one flying the plane. That's not good. You know, playing this game has made me really want to like fly a plane in real life. Like, I would love to actually fly around. The problem is, I absolutely never want to be the person responsible for landing a plane, so there's no chance I'd ever try to actually get a pilot's license. There's no way. Even though I'm sure, if I ever were to do it and learn how, it wouldn't be too difficult, but I don't know. In this game, it can be difficult trying to land. I just think, in this game sometimes I'm trying to, like I said earlier, trying to slow down and lower my altitude, but I'm doing it too soon, too quickly almost, And you need to trust that you'll have enough time to slow down. And with these little planes, it's not as bad, because like I'm looking down, my airspeed right now is 106, is pretty much what I'm holding at. And so I don't really need to slow down that much to land. I don't even need to cut that in half. I think you want to get down to about 60 or so to land. Which is right about what your speed is when you take off. So this plane can't even go that much faster. But like I said, I did this flight with a much, much faster plane. And was just so nervous about slowing down enough to land, because surely you don't want to come into the runway at 100 or 200 or so. That seems crazy. I don't know. I'm really hoping I have a nice smooth landing in this flight. Especially since I'm recording it for ASMR and don't want, a loud crash at the end of the video. But I'm thinking I will have a nice, calm, landing. I should do alright. I've landed this plane enough times that it shouldn't be too bad. Sorry, I'm looking around, I'm just kind of getting bored. Lots of buttons and dials to play with, but there's nothing to really do with any of it. I'm wondering if I can turn off the lights inside here, but I don't think I can. I don't see anything that seems to control just the lights in the cabin. I mean, I don't even see a light in here. There just is light in here. I would love to just kind of turn all the lights off and make it nice and dark, but I don't think you can do that. Not from what I can really tell here anyway. These are all the lights on the outside of the plane. I don't really want to change any of those. Yeah, none of this. That's all lights outside the plane. And then this is the lighting of all the screens and the lights on all the buttons and stuff in front of me, and that's not what I'm looking for. Maybe you can, and I just don't know how, but I don't think you can. I mean, I'm messing with all of these. They don't seem to be. No. That barely seems to even make a difference of whatever it's changing. Or maybe I can and I just don't know where it is. That's fuel, don't want to touch that. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you just can't. Anyway. I'm wondering how much longer this flight's gonna be. Since it, seems like I'm just gonna be flying at this heading. Like, I think this particular heading was the longest section of the flight. So I'm probably just gonna be flying. That was the word. I'm probably just going to be flying straight here for a very long time. I mean, maybe another like 15-20 minutes or so before I start doing all the turns before I land. And if that's the case, this video might end up being closer to an hour and a half. It's really hard to tell. I'm trying to guess and estimate a lot. I initially was going to do a flight in Italy. I was going to like start down near the bottom of the boot and fly up towards the top of the boot. And I was looking around and I had picked a flight that was landing in Venice. I don't remember where I took off from. It wasn't all the way down at the bottom, but it was a bigger city somewhere down there on like the southwest coast-ish. But then the ETA it gave me was too long. I was like, oh, that's a much longer flight than I thought it would be, since I wanted to do this type of plane and not, like a big commercial jet. So I didn't do that. And then my other idea, besides doing the Italy one, was to fly sort of like from Madrid to Paris or Paris to Madrid or something like that. But that was also too long. And then I had this idea. I've flown over Spain already on the channel, so I chose France this time and was just I just picked Paris to leave from, and then looked around and saw the big airport in Brussels wasn't too far away. Because on the map it marks all the airports, but it puts like a yellow star near the big international airports. So I chose two of those ones, and there were two that were in Paris. I chose the one that was further out of Paris, closer to Brussels. And then I chose the one I think the airport I'm landing at is literally called the Brussels International Airport. I'm not positive on that. So I chose those two, and it didn't seem too far, but now I'm definitely glad I didn't do the other one, since I've learned the ETA isn't exactly accurate. At least not accurate for this plane. But I don't know why it would give me an ETA for a plane I'm not in. But anyway, this flight does seem to be much longer than I expected. But like I said, the next video, I'll pick maybe somewhere in the Bahamas or around Hawaii, just some like tropical islands in the middle of the day, and take off, just kind of fly around a couple times and then land again. Maybe I'll watch some videos about how to set up a flight plan and stuff, and set it where I can just use autopilot to like fly around a couple of loops and then come into land. Maybe I can do all that. I have no idea if I even can, but I'll look it up. I'll find out before I record the next video of this game. And I'll see what all I can do. Because again, I wouldn't really want to have to manually fly a couple of loops, because it just wouldn't be smooth. I just find it difficult to hold it nice and smooth. To like in the campaign, I had to fly some people around. They wanted to fly over like the town they met in or something like that, And so I just had to go up and then like fly a loop around that town and come back. And just holding it nice and steady and smooth for them to be able to look down at the town is just, I find it to be difficult. Again though, I think it's because the controls are so sensitive, and then there's like an assist to when you let go of the controls to like put it back into the middle. And I would prefer it to like hold where I've left it, but that doesn't seem to be an option. But then like the flight stick I have, the stick itself automatically goes back to the center. You can't just leave it at an angle. So it's like I have to constantly hold the pressure against it to keep it at a steady angle. And that's not comfortable to do, not very easy to just hold it still. But I wish the physical flight stick could like, you know, hold at the angle I put it at, and then I could let go and leave it at that angle, and then the plane would stay at that angle. But you can't. It's like you constantly have to have your hands on the controls holding it there. You know, like, I mean, same as like driving a car. When you're turning a car, you can't turn the wheel and then let go and hold that turn. The wheel's going to center itself. The tires are going to straighten out, and you're going to start going straight again. Except in a plane, you have not just left and right, but up and down, and you can spin and turn and twirl and all this stuff. And so holding it exactly the angle you want, and maintaining the altitude you want, and all of that, all at the same time, you have to hold it in exactly the right spot. And I just don't find that to be very easy to do. It just kind of seems a bit annoying, so I wonder if I can like change the screen this is on, because I want to see like the leg. The legs. See, this
Climb
is showing
and maintain 9,000 foot
the
session in
departure
November
and the
India
landing,
Zulu.
not the stuff in between. I also noticed there it's showing my real time, 2:45. Not like the local time of where I am. But anyway, now it wants me to gain altitude, I guess. Let's climb up then. Again, I don't think I can just set that and get it to climb on its own. Maybe I can, maybe that's working. No, it's already not. It already stopped climbing after only 12 feet. Oh well. I wonder where at in France I am right now.
Cessna November India Zulu, please expedite your climb 9,000 feet.
Yeah, climb to 9,000. I'll do it. Again, I wanted to do it automatically, but I guess I'll have to do the nose again if none of this is gonna work the way I want to do. I'll just manually fly up. But again, the path in front of me doesn't have me to... Oh, look, I'm turning again soon. Does that mean I'm coming in close to my landing? Maybe this video won't be quite as long as I was expecting it to be. But there's no way I'm about to be landing, but it wants me to start climbing again. That seems odd. If I'm getting close to my destination, I start descending soon, surely. Maybe I'm gonna turn here and hold that angle for a while, but not nearly as long as, you know, I was flying at this angle. I guess we'll see. I'm not sure. I don't remember there being this many turns when I was looking at the flight path on the map. But maybe there are. Or maybe there were. Maybe I just didn't pay all that much attention to it. But we're over halfway towards the 9,000 now. But we are not going over 9,000, because then they'll start yelling at me to descend. saw the flight path turning there. I really thought we were coming right up on the end of it. But that doesn't really make sense, because I think when we come up on the end, the first turn will be to the left, and then back around to the right, and then the last turn to the left again. Which, that's why when I was looking at the flight path, I was wanting to change that. Because it just doesn't make sense to me to have to turn left, go around, back to the right, then left again, when you can just make that a much smoother turn coming into the airport, to the runway. But I didn't seem to be able to change any of that, so... Oh well, at least this plane's got the autopilot. The last plane I was in didn't have any autopilot. At least not one I could figure out how to turn on and use. I didn't see anything for autopilot in it. So I had to do that flight myself. So I'm glad it was a much, more of a straight line, a much more basic flight. Even though this one isn't. You see, it wanted me to climb, and I'm way above my little blue rectangles again. But I'm still lined up with the purple ones on the screen in front of me. I'm not really sure why those aren't the same. I feel like those should be the same, but oh well, I have no idea. But anyway, yeah, I believe I'll be able to use the autopilot all the way until like it lines me up with the runway. Then I'll turn it off and take control as I descend and slow down and come into land. And again, hopefully have a nice, smooth landing. I don't know at all if I will or not. But I have successfully landed this exact plane nice and smoothly multiple times over the past couple weeks, so. Again, I do still occasionally have trouble where I slow down too much or slow down too early or start losing altitude and then have to speed back up to make it to the runway. So I hope that doesn't happen. But I think my fear is I've had a couple times where, not necessarily in this plane, once in this plane, but in other planes that are much faster where I can't slow down enough and I have to go around another loop and come back to the runway. And this next time slow down enough to land, and I just don't want to do that, so I'm too worried that I won't slow down enough that I end up slowing down too much. And again, I think I just need a lot more practice flying. I think I really just need to play the game more. Oh look, I'm contacting Brussels now, so I am coming up, getting pretty close to...
Going to 125. 0 Cessna November India Zulu. Brussels Center Cessna Foxtrot Bravo November India Zulu.
So that's nice. And I'm at about an hour. So maybe this video will be about an hour 15 or so. Maybe this was the first turn in those set of turns to land. I didn't think it was, because I thought it went left first and then around to the right and back left, but I don't know. Although the series of turns at the end were closer together, I'm not even seeing the next one. Anyway, I guess we'll find out. I can't really see read any of these landmarks or things from where I am. I don't know, maybe there's just not much to look at down there. Yeah, I'm still not seeing the next turn. Maybe all those turns at the end happen really quickly. And this video will still only be about an hour 15 or so. I do hope so. I hope this isn't going on for too much longer. As I approach an hour right now. Yeah, I have no clue how much longer this is going to take. But, I guess we'll see. maybe this will be closer to an hour and a half than it is to an hour. At this point, I'm sure it will be, because I'm only 4 minutes from an hour now. Anyway, just a nice, calm, peaceful flight. We'll be coming in and landing relatively soon. I don't know who I'm talking to. I'm in a plane by myself. I just got boxes with me, but I suppose I can pretend. I can pretend I'm in a bigger plane with passengers. I can see the moon up there. Nice full moon. I wonder. I don't think I was saying, or I was wondering if, like, if it wasn't dark, if it was daylight, and I looked out to the left, am I close enough that I could see the ocean over there? But I don't know if I am close enough, because I'm not that high up in the air. So maybe not. But in the dark, it's hard to tell what all I'm looking at on the ground around me. Also, of course, there's the fact that this is a video game, so it's only going to have a render distance of so far. I might not be able to see as far in the game as I would be able to in real life. Or vice versa. A game might allow me to see further than I could in real life, but this game doesn't run particularly well, I have found, on my computer. Like, the problem shouldn't be my computer. I don't really know anything about, like, computer specs. I don't know what my specs are, but my brother does. He builds computers, and he built this one for me. And according to him, it's a pretty high-end gaming computer. And I don't play games on it that much. I play games on Xbox, and I mostly just use this computer to watch videos, and watch movies and stuff, and watch sports, and now I use it to make these videos, but I do play some games on it. I play games on it every once in a while, and most games run really, really well. And this game, kind of doesn't run that well. Like, if I were to put the graphics all the way up on this game, it really wouldn't run, like, at all. And I'm not sure why that is. I really think it might just be, like, the optimization of this game, that it's a very big game. It's got a ton of content in it, a ton of different planes. It's got the entire damn world in it. And it takes a really beefy system to run it well. But I do see a left turn coming up, which means I'm going to have a short series of turns and then come into land. So I think this video will definitely be under an hour and a half. I've got this left turn coming up, then it'll be like 2 separate right turns, and then 1 more left turn. And then I think I'll be lined up at the runway. They won't be all back to back that quickly, but they'll be much closer together than any of the turns I've had so far, so we should be, coming up to the end of the flight. We'll probably start descending soonish too. It does look like on the flight path that this is going to turn me left and then angle me down a bit. If I'm reading that flight path correctly there, the little blue dots in the future. And I wonder if one of those little white lines on my screen to the right a little bit there is the airport I'm landing at. don't know. But I am glad we're coming up to the ending of this flight. And again, I will watch some videos to learn more about planning my flights and all of that, all those details to get it, to get more control over it and get the flight I want and know actually how long the flight is going to take. As Brussels is talking to me about my landing.
Present heading and altitude. Expect ILS runway 25. Our approach via Alpha November Tango transition cleared to Alpha November Tango Cessna November India Zulu.
Coming in at runway 25R. My understanding of the runways is that they're numbered based on the angle you'd come in at them or leave them from. So 25 would be 250 degrees. And like right now I'm headed at 54 degrees, so I'll need to turn pretty far left. But first I'm going to turn left here, then back to the right, then make the big left turn to line up with the runway. As I fly over, I don't recognize the names of any of these places, but I'm somewhere in France, I guess. Brussels is in France, right? I didn't pick a flight that takes off from Paris and then lands in like Switzerland or something, I don't think. I'm pretty sure Brussels is in France, and this whole flight is in France. I mean, I could be crazy, but I'm pretty sure Brussels is in France. But anyone that has seen my videos where I'm like naming all the countries and stuff would know I'm not that great at geography. Well, I just looked it up on my phone, and Brussels is in Belgium. It is the capital of Belgium. So I guess in this flight I flew from France to Belgium. So there you go. Yeah, I'm looking at it on the map now, and I'm kind of landing right in the middle of Belgium. I don't know. I just thought I flew from Paris and was landing like right near the border of France, but I don't know why I was so sure that Brussels was in France. I guess because it sounds so French, but I know they speak French in Belgium too. That's where Hercule Poirot is from. He's Belgian, and he gets mistaken for French a lot, and it annoys him because he's not French, he's Belgian. So maybe I should have known that. I don't know, looking at this map, I could name multiple cities in Belgium. Somehow I didn't know that Brussels, the capital of Belgium, was in Belgium. But I knew about Antwerp and Bruges. I think that's how that's pronounced, I don't really know. Yeah, now it wants me to descend, start descending. And you can already see my next right-hand turn here. I'm going to have this right turn, and then I think one more right turn, and then the big left turn coming into the runway. I'm pretty sure that's the path of this flight. Is these two right turns, and then one big left one. But I might be wrong, there might be another right turn that I'm missing. I don't know why why the nose up and down thing now says KTS instead of, like the angle like it did before. Is it because of the flight level? Yeah, there we go, that's what I want. Let me dip the nose so I can descend to 4,000 feet. And then it looks like after the next turn I'll descend further. Again though, I don't want to get too low too early. Also, one thing that I wonder, that I don't know about this game, is that altitude. Like how high I am from the ground below me. I don't think it is, because like when I was flying around the mountains, the altitude always would have been really low, but it wasn't. So that would mean the altitude is from sea level. But what if I don't know how, like, far above sea level the land under me is? Like when I come into the runway, is the runway at an altitude of 0, or is it at an altitude of 1,000? I don't know. So how do I know I'm not getting too low as I come into the runway? Just because I'm expecting it to be 0. Yeah, okay, looks like there's another right-hand turn up there. Then was I wrong about the runway I'm landing at? Maybe the angle's not going to be 250. Maybe the angle's going to actually be 25. I really don't know. Again, I'm descending to where they want me to, but it's putting me way below my flight path. I still don't fully understand why the flight path is showing all of that, but then the radio is telling me to fly higher or fly lower than the flight path. Anyway, I mean, I'm gonna end up at the same height anyway in the end, which is on the ground. Yeah, there's that right turn, and I've got another big right turn coming up. And then I swear, after this right turn, there will be a left turn. To maybe... Yeah, maybe it is actually an angle of 25 degrees at the end. Because there's no way the big left turn I'm going to take is going to go all the way back around, heading me to the west. I'm not flying past the airport and looping back to it, I know that. So, well, I say I know that. I haven't known much of what's been going on this whole video, so who the hell knows? But I am still descending. I'm at 6,500 feet and dropping. It looks like there's going to be this right turn and then another one after that. Still. And then I swear it's a left turn before the end of the flight.
118. 255 Cessna November
Maybe I have
India
3
Zulu.
more turns left before I'm lined up with the airport, with the runway. I think that little white line with the dot on top of it, that's like the furthest left of all the ones I can see. I think that's where I'm going. So I'm gonna like come down to the right, then turn left and line up with that. But I really don't know. I'm just trying to like slowly descend right now. I don't want to like nosedive. But it is taking me a while to get down to that 4,000 feet they wanted me at. Oh well. Nope, I know I can't open the door. That's not right. I don't know. Here comes another turn. Maybe I'll start getting close enough to see the final left-hand turn that I have to make. Although on the screen down here it looks like I have another right-hand turn to make, which is crazy. Because how far around am I looping? No, I have this. Yeah, I have this one more right-hand turn than the left-hand turn. On the little compass up in the left, I can see it now. last one. And once I make that turn, I'll turn autopilot off and take control and land. And yeah, I am pretty sure that that one further to the left right there is where I'm landing. But I can't see the names of any of these places yet. I don't want to like pause and or go into camera mode or anything to see what they are. That would just make everything take longer. This has already been long enough. And I'm still confused about what approach mode is on the autopilot, because to me, and maybe I'm just wrong, but to me the approach in a plane is you approaching your runway. So I would think approach mode would like take care of all of the steps of approaching the runway to land. Like lowering your altitude, slowing down, lowering the landing gear, putting up the flaps, and all of that, but it doesn't seem to ever work. Like I can't turn approach mode on. Even when I click that button, it always just says off. I'll try it again as I come up to this one, but I just don't think it does anything, honestly. It really doesn't seem to do anything. What's that one say? Brussels, heli air. Okay, well that's a helipad, that's not where I'm landing. And I can't see what any of the ones beyond it are called. But I do think that one, that's, yeah, the one to the left of the blue square that I'm about to see right now. I think that's where I'm going. I'm just not sure. But I'm almost at that 4,000 feet. I do need to keep descending though. I just don't know how far down I want to go right now. Before I make my last 2 turns here, I believe. And then I should be coming into the runway. And taking control, and again, hopefully having a nice, smooth landing. But we'll see. We'll see exactly how smooth of a landing I can manage. Yeah, I think that's it. Brussels National, does that say? Yeah, that definitely seems to be the airport I'm landing at. One more left-hand turn. I'll let it fully turn and straighten me out with the runway so I don't have to line myself up that much. I'll probably have to line myself up once I accidentally drift away from it. Because like I said, I really struggled to just hold a nice straight flight. But it shouldn't be too bad. Now it again won't show me the name of it. Oh, look, there's Brussels. I'm gonna fly above Brussels and come in and land. Brussels, of course, as we all know, is the capital of Belgium. Not in France. I don't know who would possibly think Brussels was in France. That's just craziness. Alright, here we go. Banking on our last turn. We're still at 4,000 feet. But I will take control and slowly start bringing us down to land. See, I think the issue with landing is that you're losing altitude, so the nose is down, so the plane's automatically speeding up just because you're going down towards Earth and gravity and stuff exists. But you want to angle down and slow down at the same time. And that's where I struggle, because I'm like, okay, well then lower your thrust to slow down, but then you can't lower it too much too early. But then you're also worried about how much speed you're gaining when you're going down, because you end up going faster than you could if you were holding level. Like right now I'm going at 112, but when I was flying level it was 106. So I'm already going faster than the engines itself could take me. And it's all just confusing. And to try and like lower altitude, slow down and come into land and not come in way too hot, or slow down too much and stall out on the way in. I just really struggle with getting it right every time, almost. I just nosed up there to hold at 4,000 and kind of slow down. I guess I'm going to turn autopilot stuff off since approach mode doesn't seem to do any damn thing. Again, I'll watch some videos. I'll learn what that approach mode even does. I'll figure some stuff out, but in the meantime, I gotta land this plane. And oh, I should be able to do this. This is gonna be great. Don't even worry about it. See, my speed's now up to 140, which is much faster than this plane can really do on its own. But also, look how much I'm like kind of bouncing around and shaking around and stuff. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Sorry, I'm looking for like flaps. I don't know how to do my flaps. I don't know what button on the controller does it, so I'm looking for the physical switch in the plane to do it. So that when I'm ready to do it, I can. And I don't know where the flaps are. It's none of this stuff, right? Trim, guide lights, no. I don't know how to do the flaps. I have no idea how to do my flaps when I come into land. I think it'll tell me. I think I'll get a little hint. Oh, there it is. Is there not one of those on my side? No, just over there on the co-pilot side. Okay. Well, oh, I drifted left a bit. Whoops. Let's try to line myself back up again. I'm already releasing some of the throttle so I don't get going too fast as I descend. But again, I don't want to completely kill the throttle and stall out. So I'm still going pretty fast here, but again, this plane overall doesn't even go that fast, so I think I can be going at 100 as I get over the runway. I'm trying to set that exactly 10. It wasn't working that well. I guess 10.9 it is. Airspeed too high. Yeah, I'm trying to slow down. Okay, I'm slowing down now. I nosed up a bit. See, but now I'm worried because I've like killed my throttle all the way, but I'm still kind of far from that runway. Hey, I can see another plane taking off. That's pretty cool. Yeah, now I've already lost too much speed, and I'm gonna have to speed back up. Why was it yelling at me that my speed was too high when I'm still that far away from the runway, though? See, that's the kind of thing that's frustrating, is descending without dropping too far, and not being too fast, but not being too slow. Flaps. Oh, down on the D-pad does my flaps. That's much easier. That's what I want to do. Alright, now I can slow down. I don't think I'll lose enough altitude or speed before I get to the runway from here. Maybe. I'm gonna touch down like right at the very start of this runway. Good thing there's not like a stupid building right in front of it. That'd be crazy. Oh, am I gonna make it? Oh yeah. No, I'm gonna touch down. I'm gonna touch down like on those green lights right at the very start of the runway. Let me nose up a bit so I don't drop too much. Oh yeah, I'm landing right at the very, very start of it. Not the best, but it should be nice and smooth. And I'm down. There we go. Look at that. Nice smooth landing right at the very start of the runway. And let me brake. I have to use the keyboard to brake because I don't know how to do the brakes on the controller. And now I can set my flying brake, my parking brake. There we go. And now you know what, I'm not going to turn everything off. But anyway, there we go. We flew to Brussels. Hope you all enjoyed the flight. Hope it was nice and calming and relaxing. You know what? I think I want to get out. I think I want to get out of the plane and walk around a bit. I'm going to do that. I hope you all enjoyed the flight. I hope it was nice and calming and relaxing for all of you. I hope the landing wasn't too scary. Here we are on the runway in Belgium. Thank you for enjoyed.